All right, everybody. What's up, YouTube? What's up, social media? It's time for a change, baby. It's your man, Mike, Aaron, Jay. And today we're going to talk about the marriage between UNC and Bill Belichick. I'm going to toss it to my man, Arian Harris. And this is a special live Zoom call. We got my man, Jay. He's a phenomenon, a UNC specialist. He supports the football team, so this is going to be his show essentially. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to Aaron, and it's been a great week for college football. This is the first week, and I'm really excited about this time of year. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Aaron, and then Aaron's gonna kind of spit game, and then Jay's gonna run the show. So that's what it is. Aaron, go ahead.
All right, appreciate it, Michael Wilson. Again, my name is Arion Harris. I am a supporter, a member of Time for a Change 295, Mike's page. Please subscribe if you haven't already to hear some good sports and knowledge. Also, you can see me and listen to my tracks on eTracks 513 on YouTube, and also eTracks Underground, eTracks 513 on TikTok, where you can hear some music choreographed by hand, by spirit, and by truth. So just check out my page. Please subscribe to that. We have Jay Silas, a diehard UNC fan that is getting ready for the college football season under new coach Bill Belichick for the North Carolina Tar Heels, who will play this evening on ESPN, TCU at North Carolina. This is North Carolina's first home game of the 2025 season under the Super Bowl winning coach, multiple Super Bowl winning coach for the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick. We're going to give the floor to Jay Silas. We're going to talk about the North Carolina resurgence, possibly under this new regime. We're going to talk about the marriage, possibly, that he will have under the North Carolina college program. We're going to see exactly what this 71-year-old coach has to say, what he's thinking in regards to bringing his team around. So, Jay Silas, the floor is yours.
That is totally correct, Ariane. I'm really excited to see what's going to turn out with this first season in addition to this first game. Again, North Carolina going against TCU. Last year, TCU had decimated Louisiana, and that seems to be one of the biggest highlights at the end of their season. Whereas in North Carolina, in their season, at an embarrassing 6 wins and 7 losses. Both teams did happen to make the bowl game, but unfortunately, North Carolina did lose their bowl game. So hopefully, with Belichick's arrival, not to say that he will actually be I want to say, the so-called, I want to say he's going to turn around the entire program within his first year, but to make, I want to say, dramatic or just like noticeable improvements. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, and I think that's what a lot of Tar Heel fans are looking forward to. Two of the things that I noticed is that they have two new QBs, or at least one is a returning QB, Josh Hoover, who is a junior at TCU. He is leading them at 66% in rushing. Same with North Carolina, who has a transfer from, it was Alabama South Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, and he's also leading at 66% as well. So again, Gio Lopez, really excited to see what he can do with the program that's being recruited by Belichick. There have been a lot of people, 4-star recruits from different universities, and even just coming into college from high school that are going to be that have wanted to learn under Belichick. So that is something that I look forward to seeing. Um, what else can I say about it, man? I mean, I'm just really excited to see about what's going to happen with this upcoming season in addition to this first game. I feel like with this first game throughout the entire nation, these are some of the more tougher and competitive games with different universities. So that's just something I'm looking forward to see. Um, Anybody else? Any else? Other
Oh yeah, I mean,
intake?
I think this TCU game, I feel like it's a good situation for UNC football. I feel like this game is gonna kind of it's gonna kind of not to say exposed, but it's gonna show, I guess, the path that UNC has to travel moving forward. But like we talked about over the years, Jay, UNC football has been doing good the last, I would say, 4 years or so. I mean, they've been to multiple bowl games, so it's not that they're like god awful, you know what I'm saying? Like they're like right there in
They're
the
averaging roughly around the 50%
exactly,
area
yeah.
every
So
single year.
yeah, so they're basically right there. Uh, so I just feel like, you know, it's a recruiting issue. If he can recruit some Florida guys and Ohio guys, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that will definitely, it's a recruit, everything now is recruiting. So I feel like I don't see why Bill Belichick can't use his he's one of the powers that be, as I always say in general about the powers that be. He's I'm not gonna say he's an elitist, but I would say that he has a seat at the round table, if you know what I'm talking about.
I
So
agree. I think that with his arrival to excuse me, North Carolina, I think what it is because of his name and his brand actually goes a long way. That's what's going to attract more recruits towards North Carolina moving forward, at least in the 3-year contract that Belichick has. So, with that being said, yeah, hopefully this completely turns the entire program around, and that's something that I look forward to seeing. So,
yeah, I think
Well,
go ahead,
I don't mean
Aaron.
to
Go ahead,
interrupt
Aaron.
here, Mike,
No, go ahead, Aaron.
but I just want to bring up some interesting statistics here because the TCU North Carolina matchup, they have here TCU favored at 58.7%, UNC 41.3%, according to ESPN and that analytics. We're looking at everything that happened the last 5 games of North Carolina. And what strikes me is the number of points that North Carolina's defense, and I hate to bring this up to you, Silas, my brother, the last 3 games, 41-21 a loss, 35-30 a loss, and then their bowl game, 27-14 a loss. Defensively, with a defensive minded coach as Bill Belichick is, and the staff he has in front of him, how do you see you competing against the ACC when you look at other teams that are competitive in your division?
well, I think the one thing that Bill Belichick would have to actually do is just have to sit down with the coordinators more and make sure that everybody's on the same page and just give them the certain amount of experience that he's learned and just take a look at what they're basically I want to say composing as far as plays are concerned, and then just seeing what might be some flaws or some pros and cons, and just thinking about I want to say thinking about future plays, about what the possibilities are, and that's just the only thing I can see actually happening. So outside of the players, again, it sounds like they have the talent. We just need to see not only Belichick in action, but also the coordinators in action and how they're going to turn this whole program around. Basically, devising plays, alternatives, and utilizing even just some of their backups more is what I'm probably concluding. So, yeah, those are just some of the things I can think of to where honestly, we could actually overcome those obstacles, those hurdles of, basically just not winning or at least losing games on a regular basis. So, yeah.
Hey, Aaron, hey, that's a good point, Jay. Hey, Aaron, you know how to pull up the schedule for, can you do that? To pull
Yeah, I
up,
could share my screen here,
yeah,
and
if
I
you could,
actually, but I'm gonna have to make myself the host here. So if you can give me 1 second, I will pull up the schedule when it comes to North Carolina, because according to ESPN, looking at their schedule. Now, let me know if you guys can see my screen here. Screen. It is very interesting when I look at the schedule because, of course, you have TCU coming this tonight. You have TCU, Charlotte. You have Richmond. Now, the key game, Clemson. in North Carolina is going to be key. It's going to be key when it comes to competitiveness. If you look at it, Clemson just lost to former Mike's team, Florida State. They lost where, yes, first game of the
No,
season,
LSU.
they
That was
got
LSU.
outrushed.
Clemson lost to LSU. It was LSU.
Oh,
And
it was LSU. I'm sorry. I'm thinking
no, that's
Florida
okay. That's
State.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Florida State beat Alabama. I'm sorry. LSU beat Clemson. It was a nail biter. However, when you're looking at what North Carolina can do, looking at the schedule, and I need to be real with you, Jay, what do you look at when it comes to the schedule? What seems realistic when it comes to the toughest matchups?
I want to say one of the more realistic games that I see so far is the game against Stanford. They're 0-1 right now. They lost their first game of the season. That is definitely a reasonable, that's a reasonable win that honestly I think North Carolina can take away. Clemson would be monumental if they were to overcome Clemson during the season. That would basically show you how much the program has improved under Belichick. Uh, Everything else seems to be within reasonable scheduling, I want to say, at least at this moment in time. I wouldn't recommend for North Carolina to be, taking on some of the biggest teams so abruptly, or at least throughout the entire schedule. So that's something that we don't want. We want more of the filler teams just to give Belichick, his first year to determine whether or not this team is, I want to say, just what is the word I'm looking for? More competitive against these other teams, or at least the bigger teams, let's say, especially if they want to play more Big Ten teams. Because that's the one thing that I have noticed that they do not have in the schedule outside of Stanford.
Well,
That's it.
well, something that I see in this situation. So if we're talking ACC, um, the ACC has been down. I would say Clemson's been running it I'll say like the last decade, ever since FSU went downhill. Clemson's been the big dog with, Deshaun Watson and the guy who uh is a quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can't think of his name right now. I did a video about him, but uh essentially for ACC schedule, I think that's a pretty like you said, I think that's a very respectful and reasonable.
Mike, I'm sorry. You think about Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Mm.
Lawrence. Yeah, that's the video I did. So you guys go check out, if you can hear the sound of my voice, go check out that Trevor Lawrence video I did probably 2 years ago or so. But yeah, the schedule seems very reasonable. If you take off, if you put on your basketball hat, you know what I mean, like their basketball schedule is way harder, you know what I mean? So I don't see any NC State, so that's good. They avoided NC State. That's a really competitive school.
NC
Um,
State that's their last game.
oh,
NC
it's on
State
the schedule.
is on that's their rival for
Oh,
the
okay, right. Okay, so I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, so
yeah.
I mean, NC State's not so much a big dog in the game, but they are competitive. So I'm glad that that game is last. Um, so I'm looking at the schedule. I see a bowl game in the works. I think that they can make a ball game. Their next game. So essentially, once we finish this Zoom call, we're gonna go and watch the game tonight. So I'm gonna predict that even though I haven't really researched TCU, I haven't researched UNC, but I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to UNC. I think that they could beat Charlotte next game. So essentially, this is going to be kind of like how Deion Sanders came in the game and everybody was rooting for Deion and everything like that. I think that Belichick's going to get steam. So I'm predicting with this schedule that I saw. I don't know if they'll be UCF, but I would say this. I would say it's definitely going to be above 500. So maybe it'll be, like more uh probably like 4 losses, if that, 3 or 4 losses, if that. But it might even work out to where they only lose because Duke plays UNC it's personal, with Duke. So I can't call that game. That game is kind of like, uh whoever I guess is more hungry. So but it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna follow this schedule throughout the season. We're gonna follow the whole that's not good. But we're gonna follow the whole situation with this marriage with Belichick and UNC football. So I can't wait to follow the schedule. And I apologize about that phone call. I should have took the phone out of the room. I forgot to do that. Usually I do that, but you would think at 7 o'clock at night, people a spam call wouldn't come through. So YouTube, I apologize about that. Don't give me a copyright. You know what I mean? Don't make me take down the video like you did previous times. You know what I'm saying? So that was a sub. It wasn't the fax machine. That was just a phone call that came in. So I apologize to the mighty YouTube gods or whatever. But anyways, I think it's gonna be definitely. I only see probably like 3 losses at the most. So it's going to be a good situation. I think that it's going to attract a lot of recruits going to want to come in and, get on that big stage because, Belichick, like I said, he's one of he sits down at the round table. You think about Jerry Jones, like Jerry Jones is one of the top guys in the NFL, but, Bill Belichick, he's linked with the committee. So the committee is going to have his back, and of course, that the committee, they hate Ohio State. So, the powers that be, they hate Ohio State. So, but Bill Belichick sits down at the round table. So, I feel like a lot of UNC games, moving forward, I don't know about this season, but, the TV deals moving forward, they're going to be very lucrative for UNC because mostly UNC's they eat off their football program, but I feel like they're going to eat off their. I mean, I'm sorry, they eat off their basketball program, but I feel like for the next 4 years they're going to get a really big paycheck, and who knows, man? Maybe Belichick could turn the football program to be a $1 billion program with the Michigans and the Ohio States and but that's a lot. That's a tall tree to climb. So but yeah, I think that schedule that I just saw was very fair. I didn't see Florida State, I didn't see Miami on there, I didn't see none of those schools. So I think that Clemson is a loss. I'm sorry. If they beat Clemson after Clemson lost to LSU, because that LSU game, it was just I thought Clemson could have won. It's just that LSU was more hungry. They wasn't gonna let Clemson uh beat them. You know what I mean? But it could have went either way. Clemson could. I was really impressed with Clemson. But I do think that's gonna be a loss for UNC. I'm sorry, guys out there, UNC land, but I gotta keep it real. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, I'm really excited for this situation. I'm really excited. Maybe Jordan Brand will, be able to kind of sneak into the mix, or whatever. And
That's a really good point that you're bringing up right now, too, Michael, because the one thing that I have read in articles is that even Michael Jordan is really excited about Belichick's arrival to the UNC program because it's been a long time coming since we've had something monumental like this happen to the program. Another thing I wanted to point out is with this first game against TCU is that it does give UNC an opportunity to check out any and all weaknesses in which they can capitalize in future games. So yeah, that those are a couple of the key factors that I'm excited to see about tonight's game, and whether or not they can actually win against TCU, and maybe moving forward, that might give them an idea as to how to basically take advantage of any opportunities against Clemson as well.
Well, let me ask you this, Jay. Aside from all that, while we have less than 10 minutes to go here, how does North Carolina beat TCU this evening? And also, if despite the win or loss, how do you see them this season where they have to improve or they have strength? So, what do you look at this season that they need to acknowledge, excuse me.
Well, again, they have a new quarterback that has just transferred in, so they basically have to learn to get adjusted to him and how he communicates, and having the rest of the team basically operate around him. That will probably be one of the biggest strategies at this moment in time. Again, since he's transferring in out of or at least what is it, Southern Alabama. Um, again, I'm not certain as to what Southern Alabama's program is like, but with him being under Belichick, again, it's just about reading. That would probably be the biggest thing that I can say at this moment in time, because it's a whole completely new team in comparison to the returning junior, Josh Hoover, who is going back to TCU. He's very familiar with his team. He's familiar with his coach. It's just a whole new breath of life and a whole new team. So I don't
And I
really
will
have.
say, right, and I
Yeah.
will say this, as you can notice, the championship belt in the background, Ohio State. Looking at Bill Belichick's record, the great Tom Brady, multiple Super Bowls, 70 something years old. Yes, he should retire. Yes, he should be one of the winningest coaches of all time. Why do you think, in your opinion, and Mike, you could chime in here as well, why UNC? Why do you think he needs to fulfill his legacy in college when he's already accomplished everything? Is this just pride, or is this something that he wants to notch in his belt to help the school?
Honestly, to my understanding, I'm thinking it was just a disagreement, or at least in contract issues with the Patriots, but when he had left. But I think
Hmm.
that UNC, maybe he wanted to, not so much take on another pro team, but more so due to the fact that I guess he felt like his services could be needed at the collegiate level, maybe just to try out something new. I'm not sure if that he already had experience in the past, which I'm pretty sure he did. Coaching college games prior to coaching professional games. So for him to come to UNC, I think that it's just maybe he does want to turn the football program around. In addition to the fact that for what they offered him as far as like a package deal for the 3-year contract that he's in, he was willing to settle for basically the money at this point in time. And again, he is taking a huge pay cut coming into North Carolina, but again, he's already swimming in money already, so I don't think the money's too much of an issue for him.
No, of course not. He's got so much money. I think it's just more of a, in my opinion, I think it's just more of what else can I accomplish at my age at 71.
That
Well,
is
it,
Maybe
true.
he'll give a year or two or three in UNC, and then maybe we'll see what happens.
well,
But
it
I mean,
it's
we'll see.
money, but what you guys
It's
have,
the money, Mike, right?
it's like the Deion Sanders must be the money. But the thing is, the difference is that it's like, okay, like he's got the money and the royalties from the pro level, but now he's coming to the collegiate level. So it's kind of like saying, like, what I mean? It's like multiple streams of income, so to say. So and then at the end of the day, I don't know how much he loves football, as far as if he's willing to die on the football field. I don't know. I don't know him personally, but I would think that, he's one of those guys where, he will coach until he dies. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those, you know, uh, not just at the collegiate level, but one of America's greatest coaches. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, let me ask you this, Mike. How will the players respond to him, in your opinion? And Jay,
right,
you can
right. And
jump
that's
in
I'm
as
glad,
well.
and that's where I was going next, or whatever. But the last thing
Mm.
I want to say is, like, this is generational wealth that he's with UNC, to where when he passes away, let's say 100 years from now, you know what I mean, 200 years from now, if America's still a country, post King Trump, whatever, what I'm saying, like his great 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 great, you know what I mean, like it's like music royalties. He's gonna have so many royalties that, what I mean, like, what I'm saying, he may even get a statue, what I'm saying. So I just think that it's not just about money for 3 years, or if he renews his contract for 10 years, it's going to be the fact that it's like in the music industry, what I'm saying, you get a song on the radio, whatever, 50 years, 100 years, you're still getting paid. So I think he's doing it for the love of the game, first and foremost. But I do think he's looking with his family and his his girlfriend or whatever, the situation that is. I don't want to talk about that right now. We could get to that another time, but
No,
It's
I don't
going
think we'll
to,
get to that, man. Let's leave that alone,
yeah, we'll
please.
get to
That's
that
another
another time,
story.
whatever, you know.
I'm
So
mad at him, but yeah.
but
But
but to talk about the only firecracker, the only problem that possibly can happen is he's old school. He's from that generation. So Belichick, if you're listening to me, if you know anybody that knows Bill Belichick, anybody that could send him this video, send it to him. Here's the thing, man. You can't now with the NIL deals, these college athletes are making similar money to the NFL players, and some of the players probably make more money than the NFL players. So, you gotta have respect for these kids, and that generation. It may be hard for him to everything is generational. So my biggest concern is, can he handle, the new school? Like in his time, kids didn't have tattoos, sleeves and stuff up their arm, and you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he's gonna be able to motivate the team without, what I'm saying? Like, because, people who are in their 80s and 70s, they think differently than us in our 40s, 30s, and 20s, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of the young
what's
guys,
it called? Generation X and Generation Z, all
yeah,
that stuff.
so
Yeah, I
a
got
lot of those young guys, man, look at the transfer portal. Guys are hopping around like it's hopscotch. I mean, I've never seen such guys running from team to team. So he's got to be very careful how he talks to these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where he grew up at or his family, whatever. He may be a generally good person, but I know a lot of those old, guys that's from that generation, you know what I'm saying? They look at it like, you guys are little kids, and you know what I mean. And so I don't think he will come into it, like, I just, winning solves all things. So if he's not winning, I don't know if he could keep his tolerance level to where it needs to be. So I would just say Belichick just has to be very, like, careful how he handles these young adults or whatever. You know what I mean? He's got to be very, it's like every day he's got to tell himself, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a new generation. It's a new generation. It's a new
well,
generation.
I'm gonna basically I'm gonna debate or at least object against a little bit of that because you got to think this is Coach Belichick that we are talking about, and there is a certain level of seriousness that a lot of these student athletes need to be able to maintain when getting onto the field and going to practice with Belichick. Again, the one thing that I think that he is going to demand, and it's not about how to basically articulate towards his team and his team members is that he requires a certain level of discipline. Uh, that's the one thing that I think that he is going to bring to this table. And the one thing that I also wanted to touch on, Mike, is that a few other things as to why Belichick might be doing this. And again, if it's outside of money, it's just more so due to, like you just said, it was for the love of the game. Also, probably due to legacy, a little bit of what you were referring to earlier. So those are a few of the reasons as to why I think, and especially with this new team, I think they see him as being a gateway to being more. So yeah, Belichick is going to use these students are going to have to see Belichick as being a gateway to getting drafted into the NFL, which is why I do believe strongly that a lot of these student athletes have no choice but to accept Belichick's style of basically disciplining and talking to them in a particular way that you were basically stating, Mike.
All
Okay.
right. That makes sense. So, while we wrap up here, I want to ask you guys about the score. While we have some time left, how do you see this score panning out and prediction of how this game turns out? We'll start first with you, Mike.
Well, I'm gonna be honest though, there because I haven't really looked at UNC on paper and TCU on paper, and after what FS happened with FSU and Alabama, I would just say it's gonna be a competitive game. I feel like on the call I already predicted UNC will win this game. I
Yeah,
don't think it's gonna be Well, hey, maybe it'll be a blow off. Maybe UNC will just kick TCU around, but TCU hasn't really been relevant for 2 years since I forgot what the quarterback's name. I haven't heard anything about him.
Michael Phoenix Jr., I think.
No. That was Washington.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Washington.
This is when TCU made the top four. This
That
was
was man, I forgot his name too.
yeah, he was I forgot his name. He was Caucasian quarterback. Um, and yeah, I think they finished fourth that year. So they haven't done anything in about 2 seasons. But I would say UNC is gonna win tonight. I would say maybe like 2 touchdowns. But it's good. TCU is gonna come out for respect. So it's gonna be a battle. I think both teams are. I didn't check the usually what we do, Aaron, we check the prediction. ESPN will put it up there, but I guess the game already.
Yeah, I checked it. They had TCU by a small percentage. So
Yeah,
I
so
mean, yeah.
I'll say UNC by a touchdown. That's so I'm going with UNC.
All right. I'm going with UNC too. I mean, I could say this being a high score game, really, to be honest. 30, I will say 35 to I would say 35-31. Jay?
I was gonna say 35-28 TCU, unfortunately. As much as I love my Tar Heels, man, again, this is just the game that is just going to determine um basically where some of the I'm gonna say UNC's flaws are gonna be and what they can do to improve on those flaws moving forward. So I'm going to I mean, I would love to give the Tar Heels that benefit of a doubt, and I totally agree with you guys. And I know it should be about Tar Heel pride, which I am. I am proud to be a Tar Heel, but I think this is just basically one of those filler games. Is the only reason I say that. And again, due to TCU's past history of being contenders within College Bowl, that's the only reason I'm giving TCU the benefit of a doubt today. So, but that could change if UNC does upset TCU again. This is the big game for them, and it's a moment of truth game for them to see, where they stand, especially at the top 25 ranking. Which again, I don't even see them as being in the top 25 at this moment in time. Maybe later on during the season they might break the top 25 in the AP poll. But as of right now, it's hard to say at this point. But TCU, we already know. Are they ranked right now? Now I think about it,
I don't
No,
think
TCU,
so.
they're not ranked.
they're not ranked either.
Mm-mm.
Oh wow. So yeah, it's
So
just
it's
a
open
moment.
field. It's open field.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, it's fair game at this moment in time.
all
But yeah,
right.
that's my prediction. 35-28 TCU. But even still, go Heels. I would love to see them win against TCU. But yeah, we'll see how things play out tonight.
Right. All
Games.
right. Well, you heard it from Time for a Change 295. Right now the game has started approximately against 8 p.m. So we're gonna see exactly what happens with this game. Belichick's debut. Like I said, faith is the size of a mustard seed. And like the Bible says, you can't Rome wasn't built in a day. So we're gonna see how this temple is built with UNC. Mike, if you want to go ahead and close us out.
All right, fam, everybody on YouTube. Hey guys, thank you for supporting the channel. We done hit another mark with the channel and we're just gonna keep on improving. So thanks Jay for coming out, thanks Aaron for coming out, guys, and it's always time for a change, what I'm saying. We'll see you on the next video.
All right. Appreciate y'all. We're signing out.
All right,
See you in the next one.
all right.
Yep.